Do, 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 do. Let me bring this a little closer. There we go. Good morning. We survived through the hurricane down here in H-Town. That's what's up. Let me, trying to get my dribble right. Y'all bear with me. There we go. Big brother dribble almighty in the building. Good morning. I'm in the office now. I just got here. Y'all come in here, let's holler about it. Let's holler about it. It's raining outside like a motherfucker. Good morning, everybody. It's about to be 11 a.m. I just finished 30 sets around the world. This humidity is wild. We gonna make it though. Let me unpack. Oh no, I ain't leave my frame. Good. I think I did. Oh, I didn't take it. I know you got that information that you about to lay on us this morning. Nah, man, I ain't got no info. That detective said Jack got the info, but we gonna talk about it. Right on time, heading to my first stop. Good morning. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel as y'all come up in here. Good morning to everybody. You tune in to me. Watching Gully TV. I got some new furniture for the office. Might as well hang this up. Showtime. He said, don't tell me Haitian Jack is the Haitian Rizat. It's up to you whether you're gonna, how y'all feel about it. It was attached to his name for many years that he probably did something to Tupac. That's been proven to be false. Many times, there's never been no paperwork associated with his name. Never no victims came and say he told on me. So we're gonna get all of that out the way. He didn't. It wasn't none of that. But there's an interview out right now with and that treatment that people have been. It was on Reddit. It's been on the internet for years. And it was a guy. I can't remember the guy's name, but a guy wrote it and he was saying some shit in regards to him being a CI or some shit like that. And he mentioned a specific detective. That detective, I believe, is now retired, and he's doing interviews. He said, clean those nails, suck a dick. You act like you know me or something. I'm growing my nails for the Players Ball in Chicago. That's some shit you don't know nothing about. You come here out of all the things, I got 3,000 some fucking videos. You come here and look at my fucking nails. What type of freak are you? Like I said, I'm letting my nails hang and shit because I'm going to the Players Ball this year. Anyway, for y'all who just got in here, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. The detective, he's retired now. He did an interview. I believe the platform is called It's a GTV or something like that. Yeah, man, you be having to put these niggas in their place and shit, man. I'm not like you. You ain't like me. Anyway, yeah, it's an interview on, I think it's called It's a GTV. All y'all gotta do is type Haitian Jack. It's the most trending interview out right now and shit, right? And this detective who's now retired, he talked about his relationship with Jack in Los Angeles. Detective Bill McCourtney. Jabron, thank you. That's his name. That tickle y'all. Yeah, I'm going to the Players Ball this year with Rody Mack and the shot and shit. Bill McCourtney is his name, and he spoke of running down on Haitian Jack and basically telling him, yo, you've been fucking up. We did some investigating on you. You're not a U.S. citizen. You've been here for years. You done did state time in New York City. You done been on Rikers Island. And you're not a U.S. citizen. So by all means, we could deport your ass right now. You shouldn't be here and shit. Oh, yeah, he was formerly the New York City Robbery Squad, where he was familiar with Haitian Jack, Tut, Nubs, Scooter, all of the Brooklyn stick-up niggas at the time that had a reputation. He was familiar with them. He followed Jack out to Los Angeles after he got some information from an informant or something that he was in L.A. Went to L.A. and called the FBI, and they told him, yeah, he out here, and we speculate that he's out here, he out here robbing Colombian drug lords and shit like that. That's something that he told me that he did. He said, I don't be sticking up no street corner niggas and shit like that. He also said, I don't take no Rolexes, man. That was Scooter and them doing that shit. He said, I don't do that type of shit. You know what I mean? I go for the big fish. But this detective followed him to L.A. The feds in L.A. told him that he was out there. They was watching him. That he was on their radar. And the detective went out there and ran down on him. When he ran down on him, he said, look here, I know that you're not supposed to be in the U.S. You're not a U.S. citizen. He's been here most of his life since he was a youngin', came here as a youngin', but he never, ever applied for legitimate citizenship. So they had that over his head. We can deport you right now. You got to get down with the team. According to the detective, he got down with the team. The detective also said that he never told on anybody for any criminal acts and shit like that. But the detective called him one day and said that he wanted a phone number on World from Lafayette Gardens. And he was under the impression that Jack had some issues with them, or World and them was on Jack's ass. The connection between, I believe, the obvious connection between Jack and possibly having some issues with World and those guys was that Jack rolled with Peanut. This is very well known that Jack and Peanut, they hung out a lot. And World was at odds with Peanut and anybody who was around him who he possibly felt was a threat. Right? So the detective was aware of possibly some beef between Jack and Peanut. Jack and World and those guys from LG. The Cash Money Brothers was their name and shit. So I guess the detective was probably obviously investigating the CMB guys too, because they also was from Brooklyn. And he asked Jack, yo, I need you to get me a phone number. Nicosia Connection, $50 super chat. Peace, and I appreciate you. If you hit me up on Instagram at IamGullyTV_, I'm gonna send you a copy of my autographed copy of my book for that super chat. I appreciate that. He said, didn't World date Little Kim? He did. Peanut dated her too. But the detective was aware of them niggas from LG wanting a piece of Jack ass. That's probably why he left New York City. Possibly. I'm not totally sure. But he asked Jack, yo, I need you to get me World's phone number. Jack gave him the phone number. That's an element of cooperation. That's cooperating with the police and shit. They had something over his head. Deportation. He asked him for the number. He gave him the number. That's working with the police. Even if that was your enemy, whatever, he kind of had maybe like a Whitey Bulger situation, right? It's been recently revealed that they didn't even really have no legitimate paperwork that tied Whitey Bulger into a contractual relationship with the feds. That dude, John, I believe John McConnell was his name, was one of his childhood homeboys, whatever the case. If you go look at my interview with Haitian Jack, I asked him how much time did he serve, and he said, man, maybe like 3 to 9 or 4 years or something like that. And I was like, that's it? And people always asked, like, why did you say that? It was always in the comments. Why did you say was that it? It's because I lived a similar criminal lifestyle, and it comes with a lot of arrests and a lot of fucking jail time. Now, either he was slicker than everybody else, which the detective said he was, or maybe he has some type of edge on everybody and shit, right? Nevertheless, the detective said in the same conversation, he never told on nobody, but he said, yeah, he did give me World's phone number and shit. They wanted the number probably to put a phone tap on World, whatever the case, he helped them. Not long after that, another informant was in the building the night that Jack started shooting in that restaurant and shit. And that's how they found out about the shooting with them guys who some people say was BMF. He, the detective said he got a phone call from one of his informants who was in the building, and they said, yo, your boy Jack just shot some motherfuckers in this restaurant. At which point, the detective went, called Jack, told him, yo, I need to talk to you. Meet me here. He met him at a hotel. When he got to the hotel, the feds jumped out and grabbed him. That's your exit out of the country. You shot them boys and shit. Had he not did that shooting, he probably would still be in the United States. And had he not did that shooting, he probably would still have a private relationship with this detective. That detective wasn't gonna stop asking him for shit. He wasn't gonna stop pressing him. He knew the situation he was in. He didn't want to get deported. He said he was doing a lot of legitimate business, concert promotions, had a nice house in LA, and was doing pretty good for himself legitimately. He said he was doing, they knew him to be doing some big time weed deals with some Mexicans and shit, but he was at the gentleman stages of his criminal career. That's according to the detective. If he would have still been here, that detective would have still been asking him shit. That's what I have to say about that, because that's been a topic that I brought to the internet and I rolled for several years. I suspect that this relationship that Jack had, I suspect that Whack 100 is in a similar relationship. I do. I do. I suspect that Whack 100 was in a similar relationship. If you've seen the TV show The Wire, Stringer Bell had a funny ass relationship with the fucking police. I think with McNulty was his name. And these types of relationships often go down with the big boys and shit. You know what I'm saying? These situations that I'm describing, they often go down with the big boys. And you know why? Them detectives, they know that them big niggas got the most to lose. Them niggas do not want to go to jail. Them niggas got all kind of money, all kind of women, all kind of property, business investments. They do not want to go to jail. So when they step to them niggas and put them niggas in this type of arrangement, they probably would dump off some information to stay. He said it was Colvin, not McNulty. Colvin, pardon me. I ain't seen The Wire in a long time. He said, so he was Huggy Bear. He said Pac was telling the truth. Nah, Pac wasn't telling the truth, because he didn't tell on Pac in regards to that situation and shit. He had money. He hired some Jewish attorneys. He's a high caliber, high class nigga and shit. That's what the detective said. He said Jack wasn't like Scooter. He wasn't like Jimmy Henchman. He wasn't like Tut. He described all of them niggas as low-life hoodlum type criminals and shit. He said he wasn't like that. He was on some whole other level. He was a step above those guys, to the point that he was able to cut business deals with A-list celebrities and throw parties and concerts and shit like that. So he was a mover and shaker amongst the upper echelon, but according to the detective, he gave him information on World from Lafayette Gardens. And I suspect that the situation between Jack and World if there was one, it was rooted. My man just gifted 10 memberships. Amadou Diop, thank you. Um, I suspected if they had any issues between each other, it was rooted in World's beef with Peanut, because everybody said that Peanut and Jack was tight. They hung out together um, at Manhattan proper. They were seen together in the tunnel at times. They said that Peanut was kind of like adapting Jack's style, dressing casual, big Rolex, you know, big vehicles, was kind of like he was toning down the Ivory Peanut Davis from the projects, and he was stepping his dribble up a little bit. Anyway, he said it's hard to hear you. I think it's hard to hear you. Okay, I turned it up a little bit. I mean, for him to move comfortably in the DR says a lot. It's a whole bunch of deportees in the Dominican Republic that got kicked out of New York City. So he's not the only one over there. Adam Diaz is over there. One of my associates met Adam Diaz's son. They both work for Amazon. Shout out to my little man Craig and shit. My little Craig was working. He works for Amazon, and somehow he ended up in a warehouse with some guys from New York that work for Amazon. And the guy from New York asked him where he was from. He said he was from Erie. He said, damn, that's the same city Gully TV from. Do you know him? He said, yeah, I know him. And shit, I know him real good. Matter of fact, I'm going to call him for you. Dude, like, you bullshitting. He called me on FaceTime. Blew the kid away. He like, God damn, man. Right? So he asked me, he said, yo, you want to interview my pops? I said, who is your pops? He said, he's deported right now. My pops is Adam Diaz. I said, who is Adam Diaz? Because it didn't register right away. He said, did you see that documentary about Michael Dowd from the 7-5 precinct in Brooklyn? I said, yeah. He said, my dad was on there. He's one of the main characters. I haven't called Adam Diaz yet. I thought about it. It's something that possibly I will pursue, but he's over there in the Dominican Republic too. That nigga that was rolling with us on the Haitian Jack documentary, George, you've seen pictures of me with him and Jack. George was a deportee too, who got deported from, I believe, Miami or New York. A whale of a kingpin, you know what I'm saying? So that's who he's over there with. Like, them niggas who was getting money in the United States, they not going over to Haiti. Jack's Haitian. He not trying to go to Haiti because he got to deal with barbecue and all them niggas and shit. You see his lawlessness over there. Barbecued and went to a jail and freed all the convicts and shit like that. He don't want no parts of that. So he stayed in the Dominican Republic. He said, what happened to Scooter? Scooter's still in the penitentiary. Would you do another interview with Jack? There's no reason for me to do another interview with him. I did it to death the first time. I made 2 parts. Part 2, y'all can see it. It's on YouTube. It's available. Part 1, you got to be a member of this channel. So that gentleman who just bought 10 memberships, y'all can go watch Haitian Jack Speaks Part 1 on my channel. It's available too. He said, Adam Diaz, El Rubio, he is out here living. I know he out there. He said Adam Diaz had Brooklyn on smash at one point. I'm giving y'all the goods, man. You know when you tune into my platform, what you gonna get? You're gonna get a whole bunch of Gully TV. Subscribe to the channel. Good morning, everybody. Broadcasting from the new office and shit. Get y'all 360 of the office. That's where we at right now. I still do interviews in front of the basketball jersey. Some niggas appreciate it and be wanting that, but I'm in the corporate office now. Good morning, everybody. Boom, 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 boom. Trey Son, thank you. I'm watching the other live. Bronny James got false nepotism. I can only imagine the damage control LeBron and his crew has to do. Continue to expand. Yeah, that's what I plan to do, man. You're looking at it and shit. Okay. You see that? Cream 2. Just the new script for the part 2 of Cream. If y'all seen that on Tubi, that's the movie that I co-starred in with Crystal Nadal. We about to start shooting, I think in August, end of August or something like that. The script is in the building though. We continue to build, man. The script on the desk, and I dug this phone out. This is the phone that I had with me when I was in Dominican Republic with Haitian Jack. It still works. It's just an old piece of shit. It's all busted up. I had to go find it because this is filled with exclusive pictures of me and Haitian Jack. He's trending right now. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at IamGullyTV_. You're gonna be able to see some exclusives and shit. Bill Courtney, No Nubs, and Scooter did that work to Pop. No, they didn't. Dexter Isaac and them niggas did that. This is very well known. You can't be in tune with the channel if you said something like that. Anything that I brought y'all in regards to that topic, I did that shit thoroughly. And not only that, Dexter Isaac's confession and book came out way before I met Haitian Jack. He been said he did that. His confession didn't have anything to do with Jack. Jack wasn't there. According to them, he didn't have nothing to do with it. Jimmy Henchman had the relationship with Dexter and them. They from Vanderveer Projects. Got it? He said, Dexter admitted it, didn't he? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Anyway, good morning. Make sure y'all subscribe, man, to the Real Gully TV. Hip hop, sports, and fashion. Just a new sign on the wall. It's me and Reggie Noble back in the day. I-Born, Stevie J. This is Mark. Mark ain't no good. Mark did too much. A-Sign Eastwood, some vinyls. It's me and Mike Epps. We in the lab, man. We in the lab. Special. Rome Streets. Niggas I worked with, the opioid era. YNX. Good morning. Boom, 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 boom. PILLMATIC 2 available on all stream sites. Did Jack ever tell you if Pop met Tut prior to the rumors? Nah. Jack and Tut didn't have no relationship. That's been proven. I'll give you some further insight on it. When I was around him, he called John Bloody Hatcher, who's deceased now and shit. And Hatcher told a story of him and his squad they was following Tut, and they lost him in traffic. They was gonna body Tut about something that he did. They had already killed one of Tut's people, either one of his homies or one of the niggas he was robbing and shit with. And Hatcher and them, they lost him in traffic. They was trying to put Tut out of, they was trying to, for real. I noticed you and Jack never spoke about Biggie. Yes, we did. You can't get that. You can't get that. You can't get that. I have integrity in certain topics that I was sworn not to really discuss. That would be Biggie. Biggie's deceased. He don't need none of that. And Jay-Z, who I promised that I would never speak about. But he said, why you say Mark did too much? Him and that light-skinned dude laid it down right. Mark told so much on the Art of Dialogue, he told on his motherfucking self. He got on the Art of Dialogue and he said, he kept saying we. He said we would be in the clubs in the VIP and we would have bottles for us, and then we would have special bottles for the girls and shit. You know what I'm saying? And we knew not to touch those bottles. When he said that, he's admitting that he was aware of Puff drugging fucking women, putting roofies in they fucking bottles and shit like that. He made himself become a part of that. Yeah, we. That's what he said. And I told him, I said, yo, man, you done said too fucking much. I warned him before he went over there to the Art of Dialogue. He was being greedy, trying to sell his book. I warned him. I said, my nigga, when you on my platform, me and you got a relationship. You protect it. I ain't gonna lead you into no questions that's gonna cause you any detriment. I ain't gonna air none of your business that's gonna cause you any detriment. If you say something between me and you, I'm gonna erase it if it's something that's detrimental to you. He took his wannabe slick ass over there to Art of Dialogue, and Art of Dialogue asked him some incriminating shit, right? And when he said it, Art of Dialogue had the opportunity to say, I ain't gonna air this because this nigga just admitted being a part of a crime. This nigga just admitted he just incriminated himself. You know what I'm saying? Art of Dialogue could have deleted that shit, but he didn't because he didn't give a fuck about Mark. And he told, and he uploaded that shit to the YouTube world, and it went fucking haywire. And everybody know now you was a part of that shit. And it's now a part of the case. It's in the paperwork. Somebody sent it to me. One of my followers, sent me that criminal complaint that they building against Puff regarding them lawsuits. And Mark Curry and the shit that he said on Art of Dialogue is in there. One of Diddy's former artists from Bad Boy, Mark Curry, admitted being aware of Puff putting spiked bottles and feeding women ecstasy and shit like that. Mark said that shit. He did. She said, I feel you on this one. This is the truth. This is the truth. And I warned him before he did it. But niggas be greedy. There was many a times when we got on this platform, me and him had discussions, and he wanted to have the book with him. I said, don't do that. I say, don't do that. Don't bring that book up because people gonna think you have a motive for the shit that you saying about Puff. So just leave the book out of it and just tell your truth. But the nigga was so greedy, he wanted to sell that book. He continued to run his fucking mouth, and now he's a part of the motherfucking case. Yep. He said, chasing interviews, yeah. He said, because of the word we, he said he knew. Yeah, he did. So, yeah, he did too much. That's why that picture on the floor and shit. That's why that picture over there on the floor. He can't get on the wall with that bullshit. Darrell Javon, I appreciate your super chat. He said you had to call timeout. I called the nigga on the phone personally. I said, yo, didn't I tell you to be careful when you went on other platforms? These niggas, they don't know you. They don't care about you. They don't have a relationship with you. They're not going to protect you. They're not going to protect you. He did it anyway because he's greedy, and he went over there and implicated himself. And now he's a part of a motherfucking criminal complaint. Subscribe to the channel. He said, I want to know about Jack's interactions with Biggie. Him and Gully never spoke on that. Nah, I never spoke on, I know this. Well, it was already said in books and on film that Biggie told Pac to stay away from Haitian Jack and them niggas. He said, yo, it was in the movie. Yo, dude, don't be fucking with them niggas. They out of your league. Them some heavy niggas and shit. Tupac went and told them niggas what he said. This is already known. Tupac went back and told them niggas, Biggie told me to stay away from you niggas, that y'all dangerous. Jack didn't tell me that he did anything to Biggie. But it's well known that Biggie got robbed after that. And I don't believe Jack did it himself. But Biggie definitely got checked about that shit. He did. He did. He said Jack paid Biggie a visit. I don't think he did it himself. I don't think he did it himself. He had goons, man. Like the same way Jimmy Henchman called Dexter and them niggas, yo, fool. Jack had goons around him that hung around him and shit, like that was down to get busy and shit, like Ricky Lee and shit. You know what I'm saying? So he said, Cap, I'm kicking you out of my chat. I holler at you. Everyone that was close to Pac said he was out of his league running with Haitian Jack. Mike Tyson told him that too and shit. The jewelry Pac had on Me Against the World came from Jack, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to look at the time frame. Something else that Mark Curry did. Mark went and got G. G was on his platform before. G gave some misinformation on Art of Dialogue. After Mark did what he did, he wanted to cover up his blunder. So he went and got G, Marley G. These are all niggas that was already on my platform. He went and got them and took them to Art of Dialogue to tell their story. And G got up there and said that he seen Haitian Jack with Tupac's jewelry on the next day. That was a lie. That was a lie. That was a fucking lie. I know what happened to the jewelry. Y'all want to know what happened to Tupac's jewelry? I told y'all before. Y'all want to... Dexter told us. And then I told y'all. Y'all want to know what happened to Tupac's jewelry? Peanut got it. Peanut got it. The same Peanut that I'm telling y'all who Jack had a relationship with, who was at odds with World and them niggas. That's who ended up with the jewelry. Peanut had it. There you go. All this shit connect. G went out on Art of Dialogue talking about he seen Jack the next day in Atlanta with the jewelry. How the fuck did the jewelry get from Quad Studio to Atlanta? What the fuck? Did he airdrop that shit down there to him? No. He sold the shit to fucking Peanut. Boom, 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 boom. He said Jamil got on a new Era cap. What's so fucking funny about that? He hit y'all with the laughing out loud. What's so funny about that? I got New Era snapbacks on my website, Fashion Bomb Couture. I did a deal with New Era, just so you know. Go to my website and get you a Fashion Bomb Couture New Era hat by Gully TV. He said, where the nigga Peanut now? Peanut got killed beefing with them CMB niggas. He got killed at a club in Manhattan, and when they crept up on him, shot him, he tried to take off. He put his foot on the gas because he's shot. He's in shock. He's trying to save his life. Put his foot on the gas and crashed and hit a motherfucker and killed a motherfucker. And I believe Peanut was shot by a guy named eBay, who was a super goon. eBay is also the same guy who was contracted by Supreme McGriff to get after Big Nose Troy. eBay is charged with killing Big Nose Troy and shit. Boom, boom, boom. What was your biggest impression of hanging with Jack? He was an electrifying player. He's a fly guy. He's a fly guy. He had a very extravagant condominium he stayed in, 4-door Porsche, fully loaded. Had a lot of bitches. That was something else that it was established that I would never talk about, was his sex life, but he had all the bitches. He had all the bitches, you hear me? Actors. Just every top-notch bitch at the time. All the top-notch bitches, he had them, yo. super player, just, he was that nigga, man. Some niggas just got it. They just got it. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't believe that this nigga could turn into, somebody messaged me one time, they was like, man, you was hanging with a real dangerous nigga. You don't know how dangerous that nigga was that you was rolling with, right? They was like, man, he's dapper, he's charismatic, real smooth. He said, when that nigga put on that bulletproof vest and pulled them hammers out, he turned into the Incredible Hulk. He said, it's like watching David Banner turn into the Incredible Hulk. That's what I was told about him. Yeah. Was Jack mad at Tupac for getting Madonna to fire him? Where did you get that from? The Haitian Jack Tupac story is on his channel. You could look it up. It didn't go nothing like that. Just go play the video, man. You'll get the chronological time frame that all of that transpired and you know what happened and shit. My man says, who cares? Let's teach wealth and health. I'm a perfect manifestation of wealth and health, and I'm kicking you out of my fucking chat for coming in here with that type of energy. Who cares? Anybody that's tuned into my platform cares, and this is what I do for a living. You got to go. Anybody else want to get kicked out forever? Anybody else want to get kicked the fuck up out of here? What's the difference between Jack and Alpo? Jack, you couldn't tell was dangerous. Alpo, I knew he was dangerous. You could just tell. You could just tell. They both was extravagant. They both could dress. I was around Alpo and abroad and shit. Like when we was together, we walked to the Whole Foods, and it's a Whole Foods not far from the Apollo Theater in Harlem. And we went there and we went to go visit one of his broads who was at work and shit. You know, he was showing me, yeah, I'm a whole killer. This is what I do and shit, you know what I'm saying? And I remember the chick said to him, she said, what, you ain't driving your Batmobile today? And he looked at me because he hid his car from me. He didn't want me to know what he was driving and shit. When she said that he was in a Batmobile, I took that to be either a Ferrari, Porsche, Maserati, some shit like that. Yeah, he said the Whole Foods on 125th. You just knew that he would put you up out of here. And the way that he spoke to me about Richard Porter and Demencio, I knew he wasn't to be played with. I've told this story before. I asked him about, King Erner or somebody put out a video one time saying that Alpo got slapped in the polo grounds. So I called him. I said, yo, you see this content online? They saying that you got slapped today in the polo grounds. We was on FaceTime. He said, ain't nobody fucking slapped me. He said, number one, I ain't been to the polo grounds since 1987, 88. He said, ain't nobody fucking slapped me. He said, a nigga slapped my wife and he dead now. I was like, oh my God. He said it just like that. He said it just as plain as can be. And I knew who he was talking about. And if you know the history of him, you knew he was talking about Demencio and shit. That's what he said. There's been many stories about what happened between them two. You probably got a story that was told by Demencio people. I'm just telling you what he said. He didn't say his name. He said a nigga slapped my wife and he dead now. And I knew who he was talking about. Jack didn't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? For real. Alpo wasn't, he felt sorry about the Rich Porter thing because of Rich's family, Pat Porter and all of them. When you mature, you get to think about what you did and you say to yourself, I didn't have to kill him. But when we was talking about it, he was mad at that nigga, man. He said, that nigga knew not to be fucking playing with me, man. That nigga stole my fucking money. He said, that nigga know how I get down. He said, people got this grand image, you know, from the movie Paid in Full that me and him was best of friends and shit. He said, I fucked with him. I fucked with AZ too. He said, we was all, you know, in the same crowd getting money together. He said, yeah, I fucked with Rich, but I only fucked with the nigga for a little over a year and shit. He was like, me and him didn't grow up together or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Nigga took my fucking money. That's what it is and shit. That's what he said. That's what he said. Speaking of Alpo, the guy who killed Alpo was acquitted yesterday in criminal court. He was found not guilty. His name was, I believe his name was Shameik Parker. Shameik's gonna be a legend wherever he stands at because of what he did. He's on the streets right now. He probably watching this shit. But yeah, he was found not guilty yesterday, and that's the end of the Alpo Martinez story. Was Unique Mecca audio really in the mix as he says? I don't know the brother. Them niggas is all older than me. I do know Alpo was gonna slap him that day on that video. If you go look at that video, he was talking, Unique was talking very, very fast, trying to diffuse Alpo because he was somebody who I believe called him a rat or called him the police. And he went to see that nigga about that. And he got to talking really, really fast, and he possibly got extorted off camera. He probably paid some fees for that, for what he said, because that visit was similar to the visit that the boy got when he put his arm around him and took the picture with him. That's probably what he was coming to do to Unique Mecca audio, and Unique know that. You know what I'm saying? He could say what he want to say now, and he probably paid his way out of that shit, but dude was on one. Yes, he was outside of Queens Flip trying to get at King Erner and them. Like, I would have to tell him that, you know, fam, it's not that serious and shit. He didn't stop being a killer. He was still on kill time when he was out here. When he's moving around Harlem and shit, when he shook Jim Jones' hand, like all of that. He was on it. He was on it. Say it to my face. That's what he was on it. And some niggas that tell, they still be on that. Like, yeah, I told him a rat. I'm also a killer. Play with me. And that's what type time he was on and shit. Boom, boom. He said he never showed the whole interview. Nah, because he know what that was about. Like I said, I talked to him after Unique. He was like, man, that bitch ass nigga know not to be fucking playing with me. I don't know what the fuck this internet shit done got into these niggas, man. Like, yeah. Alpo used to pull up to spots in all black night tech suits, Gully and black gloves on. He wasn't pulling up on nobody from Brooklyn. Let me tell you something, y'all. People, what's the name just, Zab Judah just was in a conversation with Ryan Garcia, and he was confronting him or whatever, and he said, man, I'm from Brooklyn. That shit don't mean nothing, yo. That I'm from Brooklyn shit, that shit don't mean nothing. It probably meant something in the 1980s within the city of New York City. It probably meant something, but that shit don't mean nothing, man. It's niggas that get busy everywhere. It's a motherfucker somewhere that's saying, I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens, and mean that shit. So niggas somewhere saying, yo, I'm from Far Rock, and mean that shit. So niggas that's saying, I'm from Rochester, and mean that shit. So all of that Brooklyn shit, that chill. Niggas get busy everywhere, yo. Like, ain't nobody no more super tough than everybody can get slugged. Understand that. He said, Doggy still talk that Brooklyn BS. 6ix9ine, Tekashi 6ix9ine is from fucking Brooklyn and shit. So, chill out. My man said it means absolutely nothing in 2024. It's a nigga in bumfuck Utah that get busy too. Believe that. Believe that. Twin City God. People always want to scare you with where they from. That shit don't work. I don't know why. Niggas be saying that shit. I'm from Africa. I'm a killer. The fuck? It's a cat from Delaware that put the beats on you. True story. Make sure y'all go to the website, therealdribble.com. Subscribe to the channel while you here. If this is the first time on my live. Subscribe to the channel. Nobody's saying that that's not the cause, Gully. I'm just saying he knew who to pull up. Alpo killed, had Demencio killed. Demencio was from Brooklyn. Killers don't got no picks, my nigga. Mano was from Brooklyn, right? Since you talking Brooklyn, Mano was from Brooklyn, right? Mano didn't say shit until he was dead. So, you know, how you like that? What you got to say about that? Mano didn't say nothing about Alpo Martinez when he was living, and he's from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? So that's what there you go with your Brooklyn card, fam. Glaze Gibbs is from Brooklyn. James, I agree. What cities is up in here? Gentleman's Quarter, what up? Was World from Brooklyn a generation after Jack? Yeah, World was younger. They wasn't playing no fucking games. He's from Lafayette Gardens. They wasn't playing no games at all. They wasn't. He had niggas around him. I believe World probably was a killer himself, but he had a nigga named eBay around him that wasn't playing no games. eBay was from Coney Island, I believe, and he's in jail because of the case with Supreme. When they told on them niggas, that's eBay got the CMB conviction too, but he also got charged with a murder post CMB in regards to killing Troy, Big Nose Troy from Queens and shit. Baltimore, the Bronx, Flint, Michigan, Miami, Detroit, Richmond, California, Kingsbridge. He said, you sound like you was scared of Alpo. Why would I be scared of Alpo? I didn't take no money from him. I didn't slap his wife. Me and Alpo relationship wasn't like that. Me and Alpo talk hip hop, sports, and fashion. He thought he could beat me in basketball. That's the type of relationship we had. He thought he could whoop me in basketball. He said, nigga, I think I can take you. You know what I'm saying? That's something, those three topics have attraction powers that every interview that I've had with anybody of any significance, it started about hip hop, sports, and fashion. Me and Sean Branch talking about polo and Eddie Bauer and the fly shit. I just did an interview with Kareem Doc from 139 The Beat. If you seen that interview, he was talking about the murder of Boxing Reg. We started out talking about the Lakers and shit. You know what I'm saying? So there's no reason to be around anybody and be afraid. This is what I do. I've been in close proximity with Alpo. Wasn't the only killer that I've been around doing this job. I done been around a whole bunch of fucking killers and shit. They're actually nice guys till you fuck up. Yeah, my integrity is something that has protected and carried me throughout this business and shit. So I never had anything to worry about at all. Know how to conduct myself. Everybody's responsible for preserving their own life and shit. I didn't get this old being a damn fool. Can you agree that paid interviews are the end of the interview quality? Paid interviews, when you're paying somebody for an interview, they're gonna entertain you. They're gonna basically tell you anything that you wanna hear to appease you for the money that you spent. My situation, I ain't never had to employ that all like that. I gave Haitian Jack some money. I did, because I wanted absolute cooperation from him. You know what I'm saying? He struck me as somebody who could tell me what he wanted me to hear and shit. but I wanted to pry further. And that's how I was able to get information that I never shared in front of y'all and shit. You know what I'm saying? The questions that I asked him, it wasn't just for entertainment purposes. It was for me generally wanting to know. He said, Gully, you saw the new Atomic running shoe? Nah, I got the basketball joints though. Yeah. Only went online. How was Alpo still on that time if he wasn't doing that? Don't ask me. Ask the niggas who he was pulling up on in Harlem, putting his hands around him, making them take pictures with him. You should go ask them. Ask them how they felt when he put his arm around them. Ask Jim Jones how he felt when he shook his hand. Don't ask me. Ask them niggas who he might have had an issue with, because their relationship and the Alpo that they had an encounter with, that's not the one that I met. You know what I'm saying? Me and him was talking about Biz Markie and LL Cool J and Keith Sweat. He told me he slapped the shit out of Keith Sweat before. Yo, that dude was something else, man. Yeah, he told me he slapped the shit out of Keith Sweat. He told me he slapped the shit out of this other Harlem gangster too. I ain't gonna say his name. I've said it before. Y'all caught me out here saying it before, but I ain't gonna bring that back up. But he slapped the shit out of Keith Sweat. Yeah, he said he slapped the fuck out of Keith. He said, Trey Bucks, you funny dude. He said, Alpo had a girl, bad bitch from Harlem that he was fucking with. And he had other girls. And you know how chicks be trying to make you jealous and shit like that? The chick was trying to get back at Alpo for some shit he did, fucking with another girl. So she couldn't make Alpo jealous with a regular, street guy, because he was Alpo. He was that nigga and shit. So her only recourse was to go get someone that was famous. And that would be either an NBA player or a famous R&B singer at the time, Keith Sweat. So, that bra was in the car with Keith. Somebody called Poe and told Poe, yo, I just seen your bitch in the car with Keith Sweat. So Poe said he jumped into traffic, started spinning blocks in Harlem to see where he could run into them at. He said he seen them. He said he pulled up, told the bitch, you crazy? Get the fuck out of this motherfucking car right now. Made the bitch get out the car, walk. He didn't tell her to get out his car and get in my car. No, bitch, get the fuck out the car and walk. Get the fuck out of here right now. Looked at Keith. Nigga, you know not to be fucking playing with me. What the fuck is wrong with you? Said he open hand slapped the fuck out of Keith. Pow! Right? He said Keith Sweat had a bodyguard with him. And he said when he slapped him, Keith looked at his bodyguard. Poe said the bodyguard looked at Poe, looked at Keith. He told Keith, man, what are you doing messing with these good people like on Friday? You remember on Friday when you want some of this old man? Yeah, he told him, the bodyguard looked at Poe. Poe said he looked at that nigga. He said that bodyguard told Keith, come on, man, we gotta go. We gotta eat this one and shit. Just like on Friday. You want some of this old man? No. Why is you fucking with these nice people? That's a true story. Yeah, the bodyguard, man. Poe said the bodyguard was a street nigga that knew him and shit. He said he told him, man, come on, man, we got to go, man. Like, you got to eat that straight up. Anyway, That's my show for the day. I gotta get to work, man. You know what I'm saying? He said I would have fired him. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon, man. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get the notifications. Follow me on Instagram at @IamGullyTV_. Go to my website and get you some hits, get you some merchandise. Have a wonderful day. I gotta go. Y'all have a good day. Peace.